We're hearing this from Pelosi and Schumer. They got the intel report about why it wasn't just Soleimani's past actions that justified what the president did, but that it was his future plans to attack Americans and American assets imminently is why they decided to take him out when he entered into Iraq. And they didn't go inside Iran to do it. It's when he landed in Iraq. Now they're saying that's not good enough that you informed us. I don't know if we buy all of your intel. Of course, this is to embarrass the president, to, again, I think, put Americans at risk. It's playing politics with our national security. And they're saying now, this is the new Congress. Let's declassify it for the American people. Like the Ukraine call and all of your foreign policy decisions, President Trump. We need to declassify the ultra-classified statement that you gave to Congress, which is why they don't get told about things in advance. It's why you don't tell those members of Congress about things in advance. Because immediately they want to start declassifying what they read about Soleimani for the justifications for his attack. We should not be declassifying information like that.
We have sources on the ground virtually in every part of the world, including Iran. It was some of our sources in Iraq, Iran, and other places that let us know where and how Soleimani was going to be traveling. If we were to release that information, even if we just released it to the Gang of Eight in Congress where they leak like a sieve, you would put people who give us this kind of intelligence and different organizations, sources and methods, as they call it, you would put them at grave risk. What I find sickening really about all of this, Jordan, is that, and I hate to say this, but it's true, it seems that the Democrats care more about their party and about political considerations than they actually do about national security. I mean, Soleimani was one of the great mass murderers of our time. The president, in spite of what they're saying, was authorized to do this. Anytime the president acts in self-defense for our nation and his assets, he does not need prior congressional approval to react to an imminent threat, which all the people in the administration were saying there was an imminent threat going on.
Obama launches 2,800 strikes on Iraq and Syria without congressional approval. 2,800 strikes on Iraq and Syria without congressional approval. Why? Well, in a written statement to the New York Times, President Obama's White House legal team defended the campaign against ISIS, referred to as ISIL. Remember, they love doing that, in 2014, writing, quote, "The president may rely on the 2001, which I hold in my hands, authorization of use of military force as statutory authority for the military airstrike operations he is directing against ISIL." Did Democrats question him then? 2,800 strikes without any congressional approval. A full-scale war was started with ISIS under President Obama. He called them the JV team, but it was still a full-scale war, conflict. But you don't call it a war, so you don't have to use the War Powers Resolution. Did they get congressional approval? No, not at all. Again, I look at that, these 2,800 strikes by Obama. One strike by President Trump gets this kind of outrage from the left.
And the paragraph you referred to ends by saying that the president's authorized to launch these attacks in order to prevent any future acts of international terrorism against the United States by such nations, organizations, or persons, which is exactly what the president did. There was an imminent attack. There was the potential for hundreds of American lives to be lost, as well as others. And this joint resolution is very, very plain. The president is authorized to act to prevent such attacks.